Hi everyone and welcome to a new and a very interesting set of video course titled Nginx Beginner to Advanced. My name is Zeel and I'm going to be your instructor throughout this course. Now, one thing that I can say is that throughout my career, I have worked in various positions, starting from system administrator to DevOps engineer to DevSecOps engineer, and I've also worked as a security consultant for many of the organizations. So one thing that I can say is that in all of the organizations that I've personally worked with or consulted with, one of the common tools that I have seen used in all of the organization is Nginx. Nginx is extremely popular in the industry, and the chances is that in most of the organization that you will also be working with, you have to go ahead and configure and maintain Nginx there as well. So this is one of the reasons why if you're working into domains like DevOps, cloud engineer, SRE, security, etc., one of the very important tools that you have to be aware of is related to Nginx. So this is one of the reasons why I have created this course titled Nginx Beginner to Advanced. From the name itself, we can identify the primary purpose of this course, which is to learn Nginx, not from the perspective of basic, but from beginner to advanced. So after you complete this course, you will be very comfortable and very thorough with Nginx, and you will be able to set up Nginx for production websites that can handle millions of requests without any issues. So that's the basic. With this, let's get started. Now, one point that we have to keep a note is that Nginx is one of the most widely used web servers across the internet. And in one of the surveys of W3 Techs, they analyzed that Nginx is used by about 32.8% of all of the websites. So you see, you have Nginx that is sitting on the top. Nowadays, Cloudflare has also become very popular because you have a great set of denial of service, distributed denial of service. So CDNs have become very popular. So you will see that Cloudflare has again become very popular. Then you have Apache and then you have various others like IIS, etc. over here. So at the top is Nginx, and again this is one of the reasons why it is very important that you are aware of Nginx from the production perspective. Now, one thing that I'm sure everyone is very comfortable with is visiting the websites. For example, from the browser, when you type the domain name of the website, you will see that the website gets loaded. This is very easy and everyone is aware of it. However, the true importance lies on what exactly is happening behind the scenes. So when we analyze on things that are happening in the background, there are various things. For example, you have a DNS lookup that takes place, you have a TCP three-way handshake, you have a TLS handshake, you have the HTTP set of requests that are sent, HTTP response is received. And once the HTTP response is received, then you will be able to see the appropriate website. So all of the behind the scenes that we were discussing over here, if you really want to be a good engineer, say DevOps engineer, network security, SRE, etc., the actual behind the scene working is something that you really have to master. Now before we proceed further, let us take an example. This will give us better clarity. Now whenever you visit a website, it can be any website, Google, Yahoo, or any other website that you might have, one of the common components that runs behind the scene is the web server. So let's take an example where I have a website called as demo.kplabs.in. Again, this is a test website that I have just created for this demo. Before we open this, let's open up the network tools using F12. Now, whenever you visit a website, let's press enter. This is how the website really looks like. Now, behind the scenes, there is a lot of things that has happened. For example, in the network that you will be able to see, you have a demo.kplabs.in. Within here, you have various request headers. Request headers are the headers that my browser has sent to the server of demo.kplabs.in. Alright, so these are all of the request headers, and then you have also received the response headers. So these are the response headers that the web server has sent back to the browser. And what is the web server that is running? You see, it is Nginx that is running behind the scenes. So Nginx that is running on the web server, it interacts with the browser, and the appropriate HTML page that you are able to see, it sent to the browser and browser has rendered it, and this is the reason why you are able to see all of this over here. So this is the basics of HTTP request headers and response headers. Now generally for a common person, they are not really aware of all of this. But if you're working into the field of DevOps, SRE and so on, all of these things you have to be very thorough with, so that in case if you're going to host a website for your organization, if things are not working, performance issues, all of these things you have to be very thorough with in terms of details. Now to better understand this, from my Wireshark, let me go ahead and start capturing the traffic over here. Again, you see there are so many packets that you are able to see. Now from a new incognito window of a browser, let us go ahead and open the website again. And as expected, we are able to see this. Now in the Wireshark, there are so many packets that you can see. So if I apply an appropriate filter, so when I apply the filter, you see we got the exact packet capture. So this is the three-way handshake, send, SYNAC, ACK, and then since the website is using HTTPS, you have the TLS related protocol also that you will be able to see, and this is the actual application data. Now since you have the TLS, the application data will completely be encrypted. However, from the browser side, you will be able to see the exact request and response headers over here. Now, one point that we have to keep a note is that for all of these websites that we see, it can be KP Labs, Google, or any other website, one of the common components here is the web server. Web server is what runs on port 80 or port 443, and then the browser communicates to the web server, and using the appropriate HTTP protocol, which we also saw practically here, using the appropriate HTTP protocol, the browser and the web server interacts together and the website is provided. Now when we discuss about Nginx, Nginx is one of the most popular web server that is available in the industry, and one of the good things about Nginx is that it can efficiently handle thousands of simultaneous connection with low resource usage. And this is one of the great benefits I have seen in organizations which receives millions of requests, and Nginx is running since many years, 5 years, 6 years without any issue. Nginx is extremely stable, and this is one of the reasons why it is so preferred in the industry. Now let us take an example. This will give you better clarity. So let's say that you have a server over here. So this is a Linux server. On top of a Linux server, we have Nginx that is installed. Now in the server, you have stored certain files like the HTML files, the video files, the MP3 files are stored as part of this. So whenever a user sends a request to the server, there is Nginx or any other web server that is running behind the scenes. This request is received by the web server. Web server will go ahead and send a response back. For example, if a user has requested for website.html, you have the web server like Nginx. Nginx will fetch the appropriate website HTML contents and it will send it back to the client. Similarly, if a client wants to say see a video, then it is the web server that sits in the middle and the appropriate set of streaming functionality is offered. Let us also understand this. This will give us good clarity. Now in this specific demo that we had, demo.kplabs.in, we saw that the request headers is what the browser sent to the demo.kplabs.in server. Now in the response, as you can see, who responded? You see, Nginx responded back to the browser. And Nginx also sent certain set of response headers along with the HTML file that the browser has rendered over here. Now, it is not necessary that it needs to be HTML file. It can be video file, it can be MP3 file as well. So in the PPT slide, we were discussing that in the server, you have website HTML, video.mp4 and song.mp3. So various files are available with different set of extensions. Now, as part of this server, I have Nginx that is configured and running. So if you see systemctl status Nginx, we have Nginx that is active and running. What happens if I stop Nginx? Let me also show you. So if I go ahead and stop the Nginx, and now over here, when I refresh, you see it is not really working. The site cannot be reached. So from here we can conclude that it is the Nginx web server that is running and the browser is communicating to that on the port 80 or port 443. Alright, so let's go ahead and start our Nginx again so that we can continue our demo. Now, one thing that we were discussing is that it is not necessary that all of the file needs to be HTML files. It can be video files, it can be MP3 files, etc. If Nginx is running, it can serve all of these contents. So let's say that a user wants to see this video.mp4 file. So let's go ahead and try it out. So let's open up the developer tools again, and within here I'll make a request to video.mp4. So now you see the video is streaming perfectly well. Let me try and forward it. The video is streaming perfectly well. Why this is working? It is because of the web server, and primarily we have Nginx that is running over here. Now same you will be able to see over here. In fact, in the video.mp4, again you see there were certain set of request headers These are the request headers that browser sent to the Nginx that was running on our website. And this is the response header. Again, it is Nginx that has responded back. And all of this data, you see, all of this streaming is happening because Nginx is working and Nginx is supporting this kind of functionality. Great. So I hope with this at a very high level overview, you have started to understand the benefits of Nginx. Again, as part of this course, we are going to discuss about this in great detail, but I just wanted to give you a gist that Nginx is the actual web server or a software that runs on top of your Linux server, and this Nginx is responsible for serving the website, serving the video files, MP3 files back to the browser or the clients, and this is the reason why the website loads or you are able to see the videos and so on. Now that we understand about Nginx and the great set of benefits that it can potentially offer, let's discuss on what this course is going to be all about. Now note that in this course, we are going to start learning Nginx from absolute basics, so no prior knowledge of Nginx is required. Along with that, as the course progresses, we'll start discussing about advanced features of Nginx. This can be related to web application firewall, it can be related to the modular architecture, it can be related to load balancing. For example, here in the architecture, you can see that Nginx is actively performing load balancing between two servers. So in case tomorrow, if one of the server goes down, Nginx will automatically know that the server 1 is down and it can send all of the traffic to the server number 2. So all of these load balancing, reverse proxy related functionalities available as part of Nginx. And along with that, the HTTPS connection is very common nowadays, so that the traffic is encrypted. So even if an attacker is sniffing the network, he'll not be able to get the username and password or any other data in plain text. Now let me also show you. So this specific connection that you see, this is a HTTPS connection. Let me also show you. You see, this is a HTTPS connection that you are seeing. This is not a HTTP connection. Now for HTTPS connection also, you'll have to configure the appropriate set of certificates at the Nginx level for this to work. So all of those configurations, all of the details related to load balancing, WAF and many others, we are going to discuss as part of this course. So let's revise on what this course is going to be all about. At an overview, this course starts from absolute scratch and it will help you build a very strong foundation in Nginx. After you complete this course completely, you will be able to deploy Nginx for the production environments of your organizations. Then you will be able to perform various interesting set of functionality like performing load balancing to achieve high availability. Then you will be able to protect your website against attacks by hackers. Since Nginx sits in the middle layer and all of the browser and the clients communicates to the Nginx, you will see hundreds of attacks that happens towards the website. Since Nginx is receiving all of the requests, we will also be discussing about various set of security measures that you can apply at the Nginx level to protect your websites. Along with that, we are also going to discuss on how you can optimize Nginx for very specific set of use cases. Again, this is going to be very helpful in larger organizations whenever you're working on configuring Nginx there in the production environments. So that's the basics about this course. Before we conclude this video, let me share a small introduction about me. I primarily work as a DevSecOps engineer into the area of defensive security, and teaching has been one of my passions since a long time. So even before I started recording courses on platforms like Udemy and others, I used to take multiple set of seminars, workshops across colleges in India related to various areas like wireless security, network security, and various others. Now, in terms of online presence, I have a total of 18 plus courses that are available and more than 450,000 students as of now. Apart from that, I am a Red Hat certified architect. I am a certified ethical hacker. I am also AWS certified against various certifications like Advanced Networking Specialty, Security Specialty, DevOps Engineer Professional, Solutions Architect Professional, and so on. I am also HashiCorp certified against Terraform Professional and others. And part-time, I work as a security consultant and I hold more than 13 plus other certifications as well. Great. So this is a high-level overview on what this course is going to be all about. Again, as the course progresses, we are going to discuss about Nginx and related topics in great detail from practical point of view. I am very excited for this course and I hope you are too.